Hey guys, I am gonna do some painting today. I haven't painted a canvas in for ages, and I just feel like painting a canvas. This is just a really thin box canvas that I've had kicking around for ages, and I feel like painting, and I feel like painting on canvas rather than in my journal, so that's what I'm going to do. And I thought I would go really crazy and film it, and I thought I'd do a speed paint film, because not only have I not painted on canvas forever, I haven't done a speed paint forever, and I used to do them quite a lot, and I've been getting more and more comments on some of my older speed paint videos that you guys would like to see them again, and so I figured, why not? I'm going to paint. So here we go. I'm going to paint a bunny face, because that is what I'm in the mood for, and well, you know, that is what I do. So I'm going to get cracking. I'm going to put the old Spotify on and get some tunages going, and yeah, get this party started. So I knew I wanted to start off with using some scraps of scrapbook paper, so I just ruffled through my scraps drawer and pulled out a few that I liked. I just felt in the mood to kind of start with a base of some scrapbook papers, but as I went on, I kind of really felt like I didn't want to do that. So I've already taken off the chevron, and you'll see me just mucking about with kind of scrapbook papers. It's the one on the right, the blue flowers, that's actually wallpaper, as is the pinky one that you're seeing now. Yeah, so just putting down the ephemera with some matte medium, and then just giving it a bit of a dry. Next up is adding a watery layer of paint. I kind of knew what I wanted in my head for this, but it wasn't working quite right. I don't know, maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind. So anyway, just putting a watery dab of paint down, and then I would put a stencil over the top, and I was going to remove some of the paint using the stencil so it left a bit of a mark, but then I realised I didn't want flowers on flowers, so I went back over it and kind of just dabbed it down, and then I made kind of a really nice watery wash and then kind of scrubbed it away, because I only really wanted a tinge of colour. I didn't want the whole thing to be blue. I just wanted a tinge of colour, and I rubbed too hard, and I rubbed some of the paper off. And then I thought the blue was too blue, so I went over with some white gesso, just a thin watery layer of gesso, just to kind of mute some of the blue down again. I was loving the blue little flowers, but I wasn't loving the purple and the mix of colours on the left hand side. I just wasn't feeling it, and kind of wished I hadn't done it. So when it was dry and it came to painting, I was kind of moving the canvas around, trying to work out where I wanted to start my painting. Yes. So I draw and paint bunnies a lot, and I mostly freestyle them. I never really draw them first. On this occasion, maybe I should have done, because I wasn't necessarily massively happy with the end result, but never mind. I don't know, the whole flower collage kind of threw me a bit on the bottom. Anyway, this is my bunny. I never have perfect lines on my bunny. I leave it a bit kind of fuzzy, because I like to give the impression that they're furry, and I very often just use paint straight out of the tube. I don't always, unless I need a specific colour, I don't use a palette to mix. I kind of take it straight out of the tube, and very often, like I'm doing now, I mix on the painting. So I used a brown and then like a yellowy colour, because I wanted to kind of give it you know, when it doesn't quite blend properly and you get streaks of one colour and streaks of another, it kind of then makes it look like it's got several different tones, and I really like that effect. So next, because I didn't want to paint directly, like I was going to do some cheeks and a nose, and if you were to paint pink straight over brown, it wouldn't be very bright. So I just used my Posca paint pen, which does reactivate with wet media, so bear that in mind if you're using it. I used my white Posca paint pen to draw a rough nose and cheeks, just to kind of make it paler, and then I'm just using a pink to do the cheeks and the nose, and you'll see that I kind of, you know, over time I kind of build and build and build up the colour and the depth of the nose and the cheeks. So I'm just going in with a different red colour and a different red again, just to kind of, I make the bottom of the nose and the cheeks a darker colour to kind of give some sort of shadowing and some depth and dimension to it. And I add white to kind of give some highlights and a paler colour, and I just keep building and building and building up my cheeks and my nose, and then paint in some eyes. I think the eyes ended up being a little bit off and a little bit wonky on this, but yeah, he's still cute, don't get me wrong, I think he's still cute. I just don't think he's one of the better bunnies that I've ever painted or drawn in my time. Next I'm just going in with a white Signo, just to give some highlights and catch lights to the eyes to give them a bit of life, and then out come my trusty oil pastels. I love using oil pastels over acrylic, I love the blending action, and I love giving depth and dimension to my paintings using oil pastels. And as I was talking about the fuzzy sort of feeling, to make it look like it's real and furry, I always go around my bunnies with an oil pastel and then blend outwards to give it that fuzzy kind of look. It's just how I like it. This isn't the best example ever of doing that. But so as you can see, I used brown and just go around the outside, and I use the brown to kind of under the cheeks, under the nose, at the bottom of the ears, just to kind of give it a bit more kind of dimension and stuff. And I keep tilting the canvas to look at it, because obviously I've got it on the bed, you know, on the desk looking downwards, so I tilt to have a look. And I also add some extra colour to the background. Most of the time I use my finger as it is to smudge, but every now and then you'll see I dip into the water and just use a little bit of a watery finger just to move the oil pastels around a little bit more. I'm just taking a script stamp and a black archival ink pad, and just stamped random sort of script in a few places over the background just to give it a bit of different, you know, just a bit of difference. And I also swiped the ink pad over the edges of the canvas as well, just to give it a grungy look. I quite like a grungy look, and I was just trying to activate my white pen there to add a few more highlights in. And you need to be careful if you're using oil pastels. Nothing really works over the top of oil pastels other than acrylic. So I do it all the time. I kind of have to do a bit and then I have to like scribble on a piece of paper to get rid of the oil pastel gunk on my pen nib. I always forget to paint the sides of my canvas when I'm doing the main part of the canvas. So I'm just going over it now and just kind of giving a bit of a grungy colour. I'm using my dirty water and a bit of blue, just to kind of give it a grungy kind of look. And I just wasn't happy with the eyes. I don't know, they didn't pop out enough for me. But the trouble is, I kind of started to add more white, and then I thought it made it look like he was crying and sad, so I then added a bit of oil pastel again to try and blend out some of the white, and yeah, gave him some eyebrows. Love eyebrows. And I very often put like a little random heart on my creatures as well, like I have on the ear, but then I felt like that was a bit too stark white, so I went over that again with a bit of oil pastel just to kind of darken it down. And again, this bunny is just not popping out of the canvas enough for me today. So this is just I think it's a 2B drawing pencil, just going around the outside and then smudging it a bit with my fingers just to give it a darker out, you know, to give it a bit of a shadow, and it pops better. It does pop better,
But I don't know, the whole, as I say, I'm not massively happy with this bunny. I have done better bunnies. Okay, so I'm calling it done, because if I do any more then I'm going to ruin it. Want to set that oil pastel so that it doesn't move around so much anymore, so I just use regular hairspray and give it a good going over and let it dry, and that just sets my pastels.
Okay, so there's my little bunny. I'm going to call it a day. It's not my most favourite bunny I've ever painted, but it is not my worst either. I don't know. I think the thing is, okay, as I always say, if you've enjoyed the process, then what does it matter, okay? And I really enjoyed the process, so I'm going to call it that. It's just that in my head, I know that I have done better bunnies, and it's all, I think it's in the ears. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it is. I can't quite put my finger on it, but let's think about it. I really regretted putting this bit of collage down here, and yes. But there we go, that's my bunny, and it's all dry. The hairspray just sets the oil pastels, it's good to go, and yeah, there we go. That was my little oil painting of a bunny. I sounded a bit like down then, didn't I? I do like it, and the thing is, when you paint, you never know what's going to come out sometimes, and they're kind of like the same with all bunnies. They all have their own little quirks and personalities and things, and you never know who's going to come out at you when you start painting. You kind of have it in your head that you might want to do one thing, and then something else comes out, and that's kind of a classic example of that just, you know, a little character has just kind of popped itself out of the paint and out of the canvas and stuff, as it does sometimes. So yeah, I do like him, don't get me wrong, I do like him. I just know that for me, he's not one of the better bunnies that I've ever painted. But there we go. Oh, I'll pop a link in the description below. I did a how to draw a bunny series last year, and if you haven't seen that, I'll pop a link in the description below. I'll be back soon. See you soon, guys. Bye.